Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another promising to be an exciting show this evening. Of course, February 18th, and as promised, we got two wonderful potential candidates from the DNA visiting us in studio this evening. First, I want to say a special good evening to all our listeners, and a special thanks to, obviously, sponsors who made it possible that we could be on air this evening. Independent Think, as always, man. Good evening to you, first of all, and how things going?
Good evening, Bahamas. Well, listen, the DNA is ready. I see the DNA putting out the first two prospect candidates. Tall Pines all get a candidate with a young, talented, brilliant, energetic young man. I think they'll get a chance to pivot in Tall Pines. They'll get a chance to pivot in Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. We have two great guests from the DNA here tonight. Ms. Hillary Deveaux and Mr. Theophilus Coakley. Good evening.
Good evening.
Nice.
I had the leader, the present leader of the DNA, on my show twice, and she's a very brilliant lady.
Yes, she
she's
is.
multi-talented, and if you all cut from the same cloth as her,
We are.
you all should be well prepared. You all should be well prepared for the task of entering those assembly. I'll give you a little history before we go any further. I started my show some 8 years ago, around 2012. Reverend Brandon McCartney crossed the floor, the former founder of the DNA, and he was supposed to be my first guest.
Right.
And as a result of him having to leave on a very urgent matter with his aunt, who was dealing with cancer at the time, I had to get someone else to represent, and I ended up choosing one of the former candidates of the DNA as a result of the leader wasn't unable to attend. And when he came back, he had a spot on my show for every 6 weeks. He had addressed the Bahamian people in reference to the plans and the outlook for the Bahamas in reference to the DNA view. And he did a very good job. He had we had some 33,000 members registered. Now, whatever happened to the votes is different, because people at the time feared that that if the DNA win the government, if they vote DNA, it might cost the government that they was trying to get out of power to slip back in. But the Bahamian people must realize that you cannot look at it like that. If you look at politics in that manner, you will always be one-sided towards one of the major parties, which is unfair
Right.
to this country. Because if you go back, the history of this country clearly shows that the PLP party has run the country from 1967 to 2017, and the FNM from 2017 to now. Right? We had 25 years of Selin and Penlin, a PLP, 15 years of the Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram, a PLP, and 10 years of the former opposition leader of the PLP, Barry Gladstone Christie. And 50 years of PLP rule is the reason that we are in this state, right? The DNA had great opportunities from 2011. I think they made a great milestone for a new party. But people must realize that third parties can survive. Now, the problem in the Bahamas is the limited amount of independent-minded people, educated people, middle class persons who don't just follow the rhetoric and pump and pageantry, and which result in such a limited vote for persons who mean this country well and who has a plan and a vision for the country or for their constituency.
Right.
And times are changing, but is it changing fast enough? Can your plans that you have for this country propel you to gain prominence, status, and persons can have confidence in your vision for the future of this country? It depends on you, your hard work, your dedication, and your effort keep on striving for to gain the minds and heart of the Bahamian people. I hope you all are working hard.
Yes, most
I hope you all are on
definitely.
the ground.
Every
Because,
Sun-
you know, some people today, a majority of people today can take whatever's offered to them and still go for you if they feel that you mean well.
Right,
That's
right.
so
They understand that not because I take $50 fold up in a shirt mean that I have to vote for that party. Persons today are more
They're
inclined
thinking, the
than
Bahamian
that.
people are
So if
thinking.
you're on the ground now, if you're all on the ground, some things should happen. So then,
Okay, appreciate that, intro, independent
Yes.
thinker. Listen, guys, first of all, let me just say this, I'm gonna open my phone lines. I know a lot of people have been emailing me, sending me voice messages about tonight's show and who am I gonna have on the show. And I must say, I'm gonna start off with opening my phone lines. The numbers are 326-8255. Those of you who wanna join the conversation, feel free. Now, I'm gonna start with the lady. Of course, Hillary Deveaux. Hillary, let me just ask you this. Now, you as a business person, for some reason or the other, explain to us what got you into politics. I mean, frontline politics. When we talk about running, especially for Elizabeth Estate,
Okay,
what?
what brought me to this?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like the state of my country right now. I don't like the spiral it's been going in. And it's I feel that this is the perfect opportunity to pull this country out of the state it is in. I feel that when the whole COVID-19 and the whole pandemic and emergency order start and that hit a lot of Bahamians, rich, poor, middle class.
Exactly.
And that opened the eyes of a lot of Bahamians and myself. I realized that tourism is not going to just cut it anymore in this country. So Lyndon Pendon was good in his time, and I have enough respect with him introducing the hotel industry and offering Bahamians opportunity. But now we're in a different era. That was good in his era. We're in a different era now that we need to explore other avenues in our country, other resources in our country in order for our country to move forward. It's time for us to move 50 years forward now. We have to think about our great-grandchildren,
Absolutely.
you see?
Absolutely. Theodore,
Yes, yes.
how are you doing today? I normally call you Theo.
Yes, yes.
Theo, top of the evening to you, and
Top of the evening.
welcome to Love 97,
Thank you for
Primetime
having me.
Independent Thinker, Ivan Showtime. Let me ask you this. Now, we have a system in this country as it relates to the Westminster system. Let me put it that way.
Correct.
And a lot of so-called candidates always sell their constituents the idea of, if you vote for me, I can do this, this can happen. But the truth of the matter, and of course, tell me how you feel about this, is that with this system that we have, we can't do nothing unless it's in line with what the Prime Minister has on his agenda. Am I correct with that?
You're totally correct.
So what's the mindset like as to what you're gonna do to the people in Tall Pines? What you tell them for them to say, you know what, I gotta go with Theo, I gotta go with the DNA. Why Theo? Why the DNA?
Honestly, I go walk every Saturday from December. I tell them the truth. I tell them what I'm going to bring to the table. I'm a young man. I have new ideas, and that's what we need. The country, we need new thinkers. We need new mindset to get us from where we was to something better. So that's why I took the opportunity to run, to make change, because we don't have no young people in the house, and we need to sit at the table to bring new mindset, new ideas in the house, and we need that. So that's why I took that opportunity and I ran with it. I choose the DNA party because they're for the young people, and I'm a young man myself.
Well, I'd say this, most of the things I've been hearing as far as the DNA goes, people are talking about the new voters, so to speak, the
Correct.
young people.
Correct.
I think the DNA has them more or less 60 to 40.
I'm going to say 100%.
No, I wouldn't say 100, but I like what I'm hearing on the streets. See,
Okay.
because, and of course, Ms. Hillary Deveaux, you can join in anytime.
Yeah, sure.
The thing on the streets is this.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the old voters, the older voters, let me put it that way, the older voters, guys and ladies who've been voting for like the past 20 odd years.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
They're saying, quite naturally, they're saying, listen, I tried the PLP.
Mm-hmm.
I tried the FNM.
They want.
Okay.
I gone back to the PLP. I come back to the FNM. We even have leaders
Yeah.
who been with one party
Moves to
and gone to the next party.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So what the DNA now has to tell these people, the mass, Hillary, the mass to say, look here, the DNA is the way forward.
Correct.
Because I think that's the challenge that the DNA have, to convince these people that, listen, put us there. See, because I'll share a story with you.
Go right ahead.
I'll share a story with you. First time I thought about getting into broadcasting, they had a job opening at our
Tell me that
station.
story.
Yeah, I did. I tell you the story when I met you.
Yes.
And that's why I was impressed with you. I was impressed with the fact that you don't even look like you're scared.
No.
That's what I like about you. You know what? You really remind me of a Lyndon Pendleton back in the days. The person who has a good idea as to what the country need and not afraid to say, listen, I'm ready to take the bull by the horn. And that's what we need.
You don't believe my grandma just said that this morning to me?
Really?
She did say that this morning
I
to me.
probably sang it. But again, like I was telling you, when I went for this job as a broadcaster, the first thing the guy said, let me take a look at your resume. I gave him the resume, he looked at it, and he looked at me. And he broke my heart. You know what he said to me? He said, what we looking for is somebody who's experienced. We want to take you and just let you run. And he said, based on what you're bringing to the table right now, you don't have the kind of experience that we're looking for. And I say that to say this. When you look at the DNA don't have that kind of experience. In, of course, Ms. Hillary, in your mind, Ms. Hillary, what do you think will take care of the inexperience to level the playing field off as it relates to the DNA?
As it relates to the DNA, we're not, how should I put it, none of us were ever in the House of Assembly. All of us are some of us are working class citizens in this party as candidates, and we understand the pain of the people.
Absolutely.
You understand? And when it comes to like take for example, I don't know if you've been hearing about a lot of Bahamians living or sleeping in their cars.
Over in Freeport.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard about
Okay.
it, no doubt.
I think, me personally, well, as soon as the DNA gets into office, our plan is to implement a stimulus package for the people of this country.
Where do I vote? What do y'all have to
Come get your ex ready.
Yeah,
Come get it ready.
You know what? I would say this. I no disrespect of course, the governing party right
Yes.
now. But a lot of people out there are saying they was misled.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that the Free National Movement
Promise was
campaigned on,
changed.
they said, listen, this is the people's
This time,
time.
yeah.
That in itself,
God has,
that captivated a lot of people. A lot of people say, you know what?
yes.
Last election, the election before that, we had all the politicians putting themselves in good positions, whether it's to make money, whether it's to help out their family members, whether it's to make a headway for themselves, and that's
Right.
fine.
That's fine.
But now, it's the people's
My
time.
Lord.
You know what I mean? And I don't think there's much people out there who's saying, you know what, it's really the people's time. 326-8255, independent thinker, you kind of quiet. And by the way, let me tell you all this now, okay? And you know me, I don't pull punches. I'm gonna tell you like it is.
Go right ahead.
Independent thinker and I, we go back and forth with each other. But one thing that we have in common, during the time that when the first DNA first came out and all that, we were on the ground with the DNA because I was one of those persons. I want to change, man.
Man, listen here, it's
I want to
time.
change so bad.
It's time.
I say, man, it's about time we
It's
get some
time.
real change in this country. But I'll say this. What has us like captivated to some degree is that the mindset of the people, and I don't know why, they just feel like, listen, it's either PLP or FNM. I don't know why. I for the life of me, if I'm dealing with two different people, this one hurt me, I go on back like
a bad
woman-
relationship.
Yeah, I go on back to this
God.
one, then I leave her,
And
I
you
come
go
back
back.
to this one. At some point, I can say to myself, you know what? I need to find another relationship with these two relationships. These sending me crazy.
And it has been setting us crazy.
The general public are not ready to say, listen, let's give somebody new a shot. And that's why I told you all about the story with me when I first went for the job.
But you realize, you'd be surprised, as we campaign every week or every single week, we hear Bahamians and Storch, we're talking about Storch, PLP, and FNM saying they can give DNA a chance.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened. That the last campaign, I understand, that wasn't the case. As a matter of fact, there was an end to the DNA.
Yeah.
But now, Bahamians are more open now to the DNA because we represent change in this country. We represent
change.
something new and a breath of fresh air.
What can you lose
What could you lose?
if you vote DNA? Independent
Exactly.
thinker, what you could lose?
Well, I listened to Mr. Wan, Mr. Coakley, and he said something when he said no young people in the house. How old is Travis?
Yeah, and Travis, you and Travis around the same age. I
We
think.
came from the
So
same
you got
school.
one.
You
Same
got
school.
The
one.
governing body,
Yeah, yeah.
the governing
One.
body up one.
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah.
correct you with that
Okay.
one.
Yeah. Okay.
And she said about a
Who
stimulus
bring
pack.
up? Oh, okay.
A
sorry.
stimulus package. I think the DNA need to. It's a great idea because plenty small businesses in this country are hiding.
Bad.
But when you talking stimulus package, you gotta be able to say where the money coming from. Because the PLP leave nobody there 2017. And then with this country facing a new era of health challenges called COVID-19 pandemic, whatever. Then we had the first time ever in history a hurricane that was 30 feet high of water, right, in Abaco, in Freeport.
Yeah.
Ain't no money there like that. Right? I understand you, and you said something you said that it's time that
Miss Hillary
people
knows
will
what she's
be-
talking about. They know where to get the money from. See, that's the key.
They listen.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
That was one of the things that we got tricked with
We
the
got
Free
tricked.
National Movement.
Yeah.
The Free National Movement, one of the things they were saying, I heard this out of
It
the
was
Prime
about,
Minister.
and all of a
mouth.
sudden about
Oh,
him.
The
Hold
Prime
on.
Minister said, any government would put taxes on the back of the poor people.
Yeah.
That's a lousy government. If I lie, somebody call me and let me know.
No, you ain't lying. You're telling the truth.
Okay?
Oh.
And when they get in, that was one of the first things they
My
did. See, the
God.
thing about it is, and I understand, they needed somewhere to find some more money to
Right.
get some things
Yeah.
done.
Right.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But they took the easy way out, like they said that they would not take. If I don't say this, I ain't going back behind that. I
No.
can stick with that. I can say, boy, listen, I won't put little tax on these people, but I can't do it because I
Yeah.
don't tell them. I campaign to them and tell them, listen, I ain't gonna do that.
Well,
And
Mr. Wu, listen.
go right ahead.
You said that you made a statement when you said that
the
tourism is a
it's a
it
stop
help
and
the
start.
country.
It's a-
No, she said Celine.
I know, but it's
But
stop and start more.
Stop
than-
and Start is really
So stop
the
is okay.
originator and founder of tourism.
Okay.
67 to now, you're looking at about 53 years or so. We still, well, we ain't depend on tourism for over a year now. Tourism was at no help to this country,
Well, I
right?
go
And
right
by
ahead.
it being our only pillar, how would the DNA finance a stimulus package for the Bahamian people with the only standing remaining pillar? 'Cause we in the 80s and 90s, late 90s, we had two other pillars that assisted tourism, called financial sector
Right.
and agriculture.
Right.
The agriculture was killed by the PLP. The financial sector was killed in 2000 by the former chairman of the PLP, the Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram,
Wow.
when the bills was faxed from Washington, and they was passed in the House Assembly.
Right.
So the financial sector plays a very minute role in the stability of this country in terms of the GDP, contribution to the GDP.
Right.
And agriculture is only a name now. Although there was some in the last administration, it was stated in the news that they were prepared to spend some $100 million in BAMSI, right, in the last administration to grow poor. I don't think it's yielding any benefit in terms of the country
Okay.
as a whole now.
Okay.
So with no tourism, no tourists on Bay Street, now for the last, say from February to March last year, it's almost March again,
Right. Right.
one full year, how would the election would have been called before the budget debate, like how some PLPs are now saying that the election will be in the next few months, a snap election. If the DNA will become the government, how would the DNA find money? What are the plans for the DNA to get this money for the stimulus package as soon as they reach the office? When you knowingly that there are no tourists on Bay Street, that's the only financial pillar where the spin-off jobs of maybe contributes about 80% to the GDP and to the workforce in this country, and it's no tourists. So how would the DNA find money to produce this stimulus package to assist the Bahamians in this country who's needing of it?
Well, any new administration tend to borrow, okay? And well, obviously, if the economy is in is short to this extent, we're going to have to borrow in the beginning. But the DNA has plans for a blue economy, which where we focus on our fishing industry, pack fish, use it to export internationally. That's another industry we want to get into. Then we have the green economy, which also have to do with, BAMSI is good. And I'm not going to shoot BAMSI down. It's good. But we can also elaborate on BAMSI, where we do more exporting when it comes to vegetation. Okay? And this is where we get funds or money coming in. And then we also have our natural resources. And I'm not going to even run away from that.
Absolutely.
Okay? Our natural resources is well worth in the trillions. And it's no way, we could say we can't, but there's no such thing as can't when it comes to this country. This is a very wealthy nation. That's why it's called the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And so therefore, we have the resources to pay off our debt in this country. So when it comes to the stimulus package, it's a given. Of course, the first year in the, like I said, as a new administration, you're going to borrow. But we want to pay off our debt. We have plans for that when it comes to, like I said, new industries that we're going to tap into. You see? And that it's possible.
So you're saying that if the DNA would win the government, say election is May 10th,
Yes.
the DNA plans isn't to come after the budget is passed July 1st, bringing out a stimulus package. But over a period of time into the administration, you're planning to jumpstart some new industries, have a new start to build up the economy, and then after that, then you'll be able to give this stimulus package to the Bahamian people.
Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah. And we're not going to just wait like a year to give them a stimulus package. No, the people are eating now. They need to eat now. So this thing will be
You have to borrow.
You're planning.
So the DNA has a plan to borrow.
We have a plan as soon as we get in office. Wow. We have to clean up the financial situation in this country. That's most definitely. It's sad to say, like I said, as a new administration, we're going to have to borrow to give the people relief, and we're going to take care. Most definitely, we're going to take care of the financial problem in this country because. Critical thinker. Let's be real.
Independent thinker.
Sorry,
They always call it that. That's right.
Independent thinker. Let's be real.
Yes.
The tourism industry is short right now.
Yes.
Okay, we can't say okay we're gonna rely on tourism. We can't do that. We have to be innovative when it comes to this new government that's coming in, which will be the DNA, and bring up and push these plans in quick. We cannot go by this old ideology. The people want change. We want change. Shoots. We tired too, and so we want to take this country 50 years forward, and not just the blue economy and the green economy. I'm also thinking about technology. We have some intelligent Bahamians in this country. We have people working in Google from the Bahamas. We could open up Silicon Valleys here. We have different islands here, ain't much people on. We could put all Silicon Valleys in these. Listen here, it's time. It's time. We have it.
Yeah.
We have it. The people in this country are brilliant. I don't care what they say, but the average, that's a lie. Why don't you, when it comes to that, tailor it to, this person is good at technology. This person is good at mechanics. Nobody. I don't care, and I hate to hear when they say the children in this country are the average. That's a lie from the pits of hell. We have brilliant people in this country, and we got to use even our people, because our people are our resources. You can imagine us like, this whole COVID-19 thing is going on, and everyone getting this vaccine from this country, that vaccine. I haven't heard about Bahamian scientists being used to explore these vaccines that are coming in. We grow off of bush medicine. You can imagine we use our Bahamian scientists to even create vaccines from the bush we have grown in our ground.
Yeah,
sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right. I know you're getting overexcited. I understand. 326-8255. That's the number. I want to hear from a DNA support out there. Any DNAs, if you're listening in and you're a DNA, you could call in and tell us what you think about your party. But Theo, like I said, the big challenge is convincing the people. if I could have convinced the guy that somehow or the other, I may not have the experience, but I had what it take, give me the job, give me a chance.
Yeah.
But I never got the chance. What the DNA has to do now to get a chance?
First of all, I like to start off like this. As a young guy growing up, the young people in this country, we get turned down a lot.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to run. I wanted to be the face of the young people. Yes, Travis is the youngest in Parliament. He is. But this is a new party, so they got a new young person on board now.
Absolutely.
So going to each house every Saturday, talking to the residents there, I have had no negativity so far. Everybody is for the young people now. They are thinking for their kids before. Yes, you know, they're thinking, hey, because I'd like to say this. A lady host I came to, I'm not going to say her name. She said she voted for the FNM, and the young guy, he is 21 age, and he said, no, mommy, you voting for FNM. I voting for DNA, because you know why? Because a young man is running. That young man is ready to represent me. He is ready to represent the young people. And that said, that day, I shined that day, because you know, that's the next young guy willing to work, support me, a next young person. And that's all it is. We have to support people.
So do you think, Ilvi, do you think maybe some of these veteran politicians, now, a lot of these veteran politicians, I hate to use the word burnout, but I don't see no brilliant ideas come up. All this pandemic and all this thing we've been having, it was an opportunity, no disrespect to the government, the governing party.
No.
But I'm yet to see something innovative. Everything is lockdown.
Yeah.
Nothing to me, it was nothing innovative to the point where I said, wow. The lockdown, a lot of people say, well, Ivan, it worked. And lockdown, it would work anytime. You got a person, you got somebody commit an offense, lock him down. Once you lock him down, it's almost like the problem been solved.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, I'm still waiting for something to captivate me to the point where I can say, I see this country moving in the right direction.
Well, what our party intends to also do, you know, because like I said, the lockdowns have affected the middle class, the poor. It's affected like a lot of people. So what our party intends to do is implement tax reform, where we tax the wealthy. Okay, it's only fair.
Yeah.
It's only fair because the people really hurting in this country. You can imagine, and not only that, minimum wages, it needs to go up.
Okay.
You don't think so? The minimum wage needs to go up.
Independent thinker, you can be paid a little more money now.
Well, of
I can
course.
be paid a little more. When she increased the wage and I lose.
Yeah, because you got to pay them people some money.
But it-
Anyway, guys, we can go take our first break of the evening. But again, we're going to keep the phone lines open. The numbers are 326-8255. I have two wonderful DNA candidates. Can I call you candidates to this point?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
this
can.
Candidates in studio with us.
Future member of Parliament.
Future member of Parliament. I like that, man. I like that.
Yes, government in waiting.
We'll take a break, guys. Be back right after this.
Okay.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Ivan Showtime, Independent Thinker, Primetime, Thursday night. Two wonderful DNA candidates in studio. The phone lines are open. The numbers are 326-8255. Join the conversation. I'm hoping that we hear at least from a DNA or maybe a Progressive Liberal Party supporter who said, boy, Showtime, I was thinking about voting DNA. Let me see if they could convince me to vote DNA. Travis, I said Travis, sorry.
Wrong name.
Yeah, because y'all mentioned Theo. Y'all mentioned Travis' name as the youngest fella, and now
Yeah.
come along. So how you gonna sell? Because the people out there are saying this party ain't got no experience like that. What could make me now go vote for this party?
I would like to start off with saying this. This is my first time running. I'm new to this, but I have some amazing people on the back of my shoulder. I'm going to say this. I'm going to seasoned people who have been in the business since 2012, maybe even before.
Right.
I would like to say this too. What I tend to tell the Bahamian public or the Bahamian people or the residents of this country is that we need change, and change starts with the future of this country. People tend to say we are the future. I'm not the future. I'm the now generation because I'm here now.
Right.
The future of the people are behind me. I'm the now generation. and the now generation. And I would like to say that the Bahamian people, times are changing, and we need to get where technology, we need to get how we could do and make our own businesses, own our own businesses. We don't have to depend on people to pay. We could pay our own staff.
Yeah.
So I want us to move from slavery, because I tend to think we still under slavery. That's how I feel when I go to a workplace. I get all these certificates. Oh, I can't get paid what I deserve.
Right,
I shouldn't feel like that.
Yeah.
That's why I say the Bahamian people that goes off, they don't want to come back home.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to pay our Bahamian people. We rather bring foreigners and pay the foreigner. It shouldn't be. So what the DNA is, what we are trying to do, we are trying to say, hey, let's get these Bahamians back home, and let's get them running their own businesses, owning their own stuff, not have to borrow and doing this. They could own their own stuff, and that's what I'm about. The Bahamians owning their own stuff. I want Bahamians to own their own houses. You know, when we go to the bank, you got to pay all of this money.
Yeah.
You know.
And Henry, you mentioned the fact that Bahamians are relatively well educated to some degree, and because when you talk about some people around the world, like for instance, you go to certain universities, you have Bahamians running those universities.
Yes.
You talk about Bahamian working at Google and stuff like that. It just goes to show you how talented and educated Bahamians are. But see, the thing is, like Travis said, like Theo said, I keep saying Travis, like Theo said, what can entice a Bahamian now who went off to school, get a master's and maybe even a doctorate, to say, come back home? I see that a couple of years ago they were advertising for College of the Bahamas president and all that stuff. We got presidents running colleges in the United
That's
States who are
right.
Bahamian.
Yeah, but
That's
you gotta
right.
understand, Showtime, to interject to what you're saying, is that history will show that not because they are advertising for a president of the college, mean that we didn't have Bahamians qualified right here working at the college. Because I'll give you a history. See, that's why history is very important. The opening speech of the former president of the College of the Bahamas, her name was Miss Hodges. Was her
I
name?
think so. I'm not sure.
Whatever she, I forget what her name is at this time, but her opening speech, she stated where there are persons, Bahamians at the college who's more qualified than us.
Yeah.
Wow.
She said that in her speech.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
what
I'm
I'm
saying,
saying.
that
yeah.
good speech.
Yes.
So it's not that Bahamians are not qualified.
Bahamians
It's
are.
your Bahamians who don't believe in Bahamians, right? It's that the Bahamians
Ultimately, that's what it is.
who don't have the trust and the faith in other Bahamians. And you have persons who control the country at the time didn't thought that the Bahamians were
Exactly.
Well,
capable.
you saw
But
right.
she said that in her Miss Rhodes, I think she named her.
Yeah, she said that.
Whatever she said that
you get
in
more
her
people
opening
qualified than she is.
My Lord.
address.
That's sad.
That
That's sad.
there are persons who she will be in charge of
But
who are more educated than her.
Yeah.
I'm probably
Right.
teaching her too.
Right. Well, I wouldn't know that.
and the
I'm
thing
just
about
saying,
it- and
she
the-
had a doctorate degree, but she had persons who had 2 doctorate degrees.
My God.
Who she would be in
Bahamians.
Bahamians working at the college at the time when the PLP picked her to be in charge of the
See, and that's what we really have a problem with. Now,
Yeah.
when y'all win, one of the things I'd like to see y'all change,
Right.
at least 2 things.
Right.
One, I would like for you guys to look at the system we have, this Westminster system. I think this is outdated. That's just my personal view is looking at things. And let me tell you why I say that. For instance, you have the Prime Minister. And no disrespect to our Prime Minister
No.
today.
No
But
disrespect.
the Prime Minister, in my mind, has too much power.
Yeah.
He has too much power, and it could be conflicting. And when I say that, what I mean is this. The Prime Minister, for instance, with me calling Travis' name,
Right.
for instance, the situation that happened with Travis, he
Right.
went back and said, listen, the people in my area, they ain't ready for no increase. I can't vote for the increase of that. Because my people come to me and say, because you represent the people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the people say, listen, we can't handle the thing, and we vote no on that. So if we go back to the House and vote no, because his people say vote no, he could get fired under those circumstances. That's not
That's-
democracy.
It's not democracy.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I say, see, the Prime Minister got too much power. The Prime Minister, He picks the Attorney General. He picks Minister of Education.
Yeah.
Minister, everything. So in other words, you guys suck up to him. If he call you one morning and say, "Listen, give what's his name that land on the corner there by Tingham.
Correct.
You in charge of land, and so you got to find a way to
give
give
back.
that guy. I mean, to give somebody that land.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So you don't need the prime minister to have that kind of power because
No.
it's going to cause a conflict of interest.
I don't think so.
Sorry.
And based on what you said, when you said that he voted no, when you, I mean, majority of the members of parliament who gone over the years
Right.
have it backwards anyhow.
It is
Because if you go
backwards.
back to what the former chairman of the PLP, right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram,
Mm-hmm.
did when he was selling Batelco,
Boy,
he
I tell you.
told the members of parliament to go in your constituency and second the mindset of the majority in your constituency
Right.
on this sale.
Right.
The first two constituency meeting that was held was crowded. I know people was all on the outside and everybody telling them no, but then they didn't have no more. Why? Party politics
My Lord.
prevented persons to vote what their constituents want.
But that's
Is the
wrong.
DNA prepared to carry the vicious, the views, and the mindset of their constituent to the House Assembly other than party politics?
Most definitely. Yeah, we went in the House of Assembly because of our constituents. You understand? They want to have a say in the House of Assembly. What's the point in you being voted as a member of Parliament, a representative for your constituency? If what's the point if they can't have their say in the House of Assembly? They put you in the House of Assembly to have a voice.
When I prepared a political future performance guide, I stated that if I would ever run for politics, all my votes have to be whatever the constituents
Yes.
say.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I had planned.
Right.
That's what I prepared.
Right.
And no matter what the bill is, my mind puts, I never run before, but that's what I had planned if I ever choose to run. And whatever my constituents vote, because every bill that is laid on the floor, I was to bring to my constituents, have a constituency meeting.
Yes.
And if 10 people turn up and 6 vote no, 4 vote yes,
That's
I
what you
will
gotta go
carry
with.
the vote to the House.
That's it. That's what
But
you have
today's politician, I mean, you go back, and I remember vividly the former member of Parliament for Marathon.
Allen,
No, what's that other guy name?
Marathon.
Jerome Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald.
He'll stand up and say in the House Assembly, I'm standing on behalf of the great constituents of Marathon.
to. Right.
And this and that, and then he'll say he voted yes for something. But how could the people of Marathon vote yes for a 12% what?
Wow.
Or 7.5% what? But then he's saying that, but he's voting on party lines. He's voting for the PLP.
No.
You understand? Because if you go back to the studies that was done from the over the hill, what they call those meetings?
Town meeting.
Town
hall
meetings.
meeting.
Town hall.
Persons were saying, no, not VAT, we want income tax.
Hmm.
But the PLP ain't bring income tax, the PLP bring VAT. They bring a tax that is not a balanced tax.
And it's not
That
conducive.
that is a poor man's tax.
Yes.
And they never brought to the Bahamian people what majority of the Bahamian people was calling for was income tax.
Yeah.
The more you make, the more you pay.
Okay.
But if you do that, if you implement a tax like income tax,
You'll find out
it's a
what
balanced
they-
tax where the rich have to pay more and the poor pay less. But a VAT is everyone have to eat, everyone have to live, and everybody paying the same amount.
Yeah, and I
Because it's
think
not a fair tax.
it's not a fair
it's not
tax,
right.
It's
and I think that needs to be lowered. And like I say, we have
Lower it or change. I mean, does the DNA has a new
n-
form of taxation that they are planning to implement and bring to the Bahamian people in a manner that will change the structure. See, lower it, you still have if you lower VAT, you still with the unfair tax. If you implement real property tax or you implement a hybrid tax system where you have a sales tax and income tax, then the Bahamian people will have a greater relief than just drawing down and lowering the rate of the VAT tax.
But this is what we're saying. We want to do tax reform. We want to, of course, like I say, tax the rich. And you know what you're saying. You make a valid point. When it comes to income tax, to me, income tax sounds good. It's great. it's much better than VAT.
Yeah, the reason why, and I'll tell you guys this is my personal opinion though, I'll tell you this. The reason why they didn't implement income tax, because see, income tax, they would have to put a lot of laws in place.
Yeah.
And some people would end up going to jail. Because I'm telling you, because see, income tax, watch it now. Income tax means that every dollar that you have to give an account for
Yeah.
at some point. You have to give an account for it. Now, the thing is, a lot of people out there got some money that they can't give an account for. So they say, hey, that kind of tax, it ain't a good one, because you're going to be exposed with this kind of tax. So that, in my mind, I think that's the reason why they never implemented.
But it
income
needs to
tax.
be implemented. We need
But
accountability.
a lot of people debate that. A lot of people talk about it. I think what we could do is a referendum on it.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, and just tell the people who got money now. You got money now. Just tell the people how much money you got now, and we'll go from here on in, and we'll find a way to tax as far as your income goes.
Well, all that to me, all that would be excellent, and that would be good. Like a Freedom of Information Act. This country needs it
Oh,
badly.
badly.
So an income tax wouldn't be so bad because
bad, yeah.
you know that's like in itself an Freedom of Information Act as well in itself. You understand?
If these politicians, in my mind, and no disrespect to them, I always give them the kind of respect I think they do. But in my mind, if these politicians were honest and upright, one of the first things they would have had is the Freedom of Information
Yeah.
Act.
Yeah.
That's it. So everything could be. They always come talking about transparent and all that, but there's so much loopholes and
Plenty.
they hiding under this. You don't know this. When you're ready, this, that. Let me tell you something. If they were really honest with the people, they would have implemented the Freedom of Information Act a long time ago. Because all of them, let me tell you how I feel about it. I believe all of them in this coochie together. My old man used to call
Boy,
it.
I
the
So the
boy
DNA,
club.
the coaching?
No, the DNA ain't no
we-
coochie.
No, sir. No,
And speaking
sir.
of the DNA, let me say this now.
No, sir.
Speaking of the DNA, right? I must say. Now, I heard this under the grapevine, so y'all don't talk this. Don't tell nobody. I tell y'all.
No, we ain't telling you.
I don't think-
Let me hear this.
I don't think it's been out there. One of the things I saw the DNA did, from a realistic standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't tell you all this, but anyway, I can tell you all this.
Let me hear this.
Madam Leader Kamalafi.
Mm-hmm.
Now, y'all don't talk this. Don't tell Miss Kamalafi. I tell you.
No, we ain't gonna tell her.
She's now in Carmichael,
Mm-hmm.
which is a brilliant move.
Mm-hmm.
Because Carmichael, in my mind, is an area. Man, let me tell you something. I think she gonna wipe that clean.
Yeah.
She gonna wipe that clean.
Am I good?
Yeah, man.
No, but I when I in the last election when I see that she was nominated for Kalani.
Kalani, yeah.
Yeah, Kalani
I thought it was a
kinda hard.
bad idea.
Yeah, Kalani
I
kind
think
of hard.
It's a hard because
That's almost like going out
Montague.
old
It's an
Montague
arts.
with
Or
Senats and
Senats,
things.
yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to win out there. But
Yeah.
let me tell you something. Realistically speaking, we need that lady in there. We need her in there.
And she's running in Jamaica now.
Yeah.
She's running in Carmichael.
Yeah.
And
Good
I
idea.
man, let me tell
She
you
gonna win a
something.
seat too.
I believe she
Yeah.
gonna win a
I think
seat.
that was
Yes,
the best
sir.
decision she
Yeah.
made.
She
gonna win a seat.
She made
You know
a
what?
good
You know
decision.
what? You know what I would like to see personally.
Okay.
What do you like to see? That the
And
DNA
a lot of people would say, well, I don't think they can do that or whatever, right?
Right.
I'd like to see Madam Leader Kamalafi and Brave Davis and Menace sit down and debate.
Debate.
Have a debate,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness! Let me tell you
Lord.
something. I listen
I
to that
wonder.
lady. I listen to that lady talk numerous amount of times. Man, it's something.
No,
about
she's
her.
brilliant.
She's a brilliant
She
woman.
sits here and
She
she
knows that.
answers
Yeah,
every
question.
She
question.
ain't feeling for nothing.
And she's
Yeah.
stammering, she's
No.
not
Not
feeling for
Well
words,
spoken and everything.
she's
Yeah.
well prepared. I must give her that.
She is.
She's
But
not-
see, this the big leagues now, and
Yeah.
you got to get ready. You see, laziness will cause you look bad.
In course,
You
look
got to
here.
read the most important thing in politics. You must know
Read.
your history.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because in order for you to say something
Yeah, you
that
know.
will, listen. When I had a guest at one time, and I always remember this, and I told him, I said, listen, what about diversification? I mean, I was doing at the old station
Mm-hmm.
up on East Street. And I was talking about diversification, and he started talking about tourism, and he's saying, I said, listen, hey, my brother, tourism was started by Sir Starboard Sands.
Right. Right.
Right? So listen, let's just get this right now.
Yeah.
You understand? Tourism is a fragile industry. You have the United States or the big brother city. When they're ready and they think you you're getting so comfortable and getting so far ahead. What they do? They put out an advisory for Americans to don't go this way, don't travel, put restrictions, and they control this country.
Yeah.
I said we need to break away. We don't have to get rid of tourism, you know.
No.
We just need to
How about
have other. Listen, if we box salt, export salt, we don't have to get paid $2 from Martin Salt, you know. We can manufacture our own salt.
Correct.
Let them pay us in salt, and we create a factory where we purify the salt.
Yeah. Pure
Really
it.
clean it, really clean the salt. I forget what they call
Yeah.
it. But we can produce salt and export.
No.
Instead of me buying the salt
Yes.
back from the state and bringing it back
Bring
here.
it, that don't make
Bring it
no
back.
sense.
Listen, right now in the United States, especially in the northern part of the United States, we're having one of the worst winter storms.
Yes, they
Texas,
are.
Texas,
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah.
It's
They,
all
I know, but they heat
Guess
the
what?
ice,
Yeah.
they get water.
Yeah, but listen to this. Guess what now? What is so big right now with the roads and stuff like that?
What it is?
Same
Salt.
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 They
Yeah.
put
Throw
the
that
salt
in the
in the road and it just
Mhm.
melts away the ice.
Okay.
So
Listen.
you can imagine us right now, every day just exporting salt to that point. Man,
And
there's a
now
lot
we
of
have
things
about
we can do.
5 different islands right now.
Mm-hmm.
Inagua is the biggest producer.
Yes,
But
of
you
the
have about
salt.
5 islands right now.
Long Island.
Long Island, Cat Island,
They got
Ragged Island.
Ragged Island.
It's 5. Long Island, Ragged Island, Cat Island, Exuma, and Inagua.
And then now, yeah. Exuma don't have too much, but Exuma have a little bit.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, why, in over the years, I keep on asking the question, why we don't create solutions to the problem?
The solution is there.
We just
These
need
guys
the
in
right
high school
people.
in
It's like
19
our leaders scared
in
to talk about it.
1991 in South Andres, when Sir Lyndon Oscar, the late Sir Lyndon Oscar Pillen, was the prime minister.
Right.
I heard this old saying state that you can kill 2 birds with one
One
stone.
stone.
One stone.
All the drugs come, mainly the greater percentage of drugs come from Colombia,
Cuba.
Jamaica, places like that, right? All majority of the illegal immigrants come from Haiti, Dominican Republic, places like that.
Right.
If you put the Defense Force base in
Now,
Inagua,
right
the
there.
passage where they have to pass,
Yes.
Correct.
you will,
can't miss
you
it.
could deal with, you can't miss it.
No.
You
The
can
only
deal with
way-
the poachers,
the only
you can
way-
deal with the drugs,
the
you
only
can deal
way
with
you
the
can
illegal
miss
immigrants.
them-
3 birds with one stone.
Only way you can
And they
miss
never
them
do it.
if
I don't understand why.
If they walking underwater. If they walking underwater, you might
They
miss
gotta
it.
be Jesus walking on water.
Underwater, they gotta go underwater. But see, like I said, a lot of things that I thought by now we would have been on top of
Yes.
as far as moving ahead, moving the country ahead. But I think the politicians, I think their mindset ain't there. I'll tell people this. I listen to these guys beat on the table all the time. Every time somebody say something, they think they be.
I call them cats
But
and dogs.
but guess what? Ain't much of them could look back at it in the next 10 to 15 years and say, these are some of the bills that I implemented,
Yes.
or I put to the floor, or I did this or this.
Oh,
or
I
this.
came
Right.
up with this idea.
Idea. No, ain't much of them. Ain't much of them. All they know how to do is knock on the table when this one says something,
Boom,
get
boom,
funny
boom,
and
boom,
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can
Yeah.
imagine if we had a sovereign wealth and that same salt, these different salt ponds, and you can imagine that?
Boy, listen.
We would, listen here, you talk
It's
about
not-
that.
we don't supposed to be
We would
living
not
like
know
this.
what that.
We don't
We would
supposed
be-
to live like this.
that
See,
would be gone.
because let me tell you why we're living like this. We're living like this because the leaders that we choose to lead us, we go on emotions,
Yes.
and parties and all that. But the thing what we don't understand and realize that these people, they don't really care about us.
No.
No.
They don't care about us. When I see these guys get up in the house and talk about, when they try to bring up the bill with Thingham,
Yes.
and they start talking, no, not the bill that, no, we this and that. I say, this is for the people.
This is for
y'all
the
say
people.
y'all say this the people time. But
Yeah.
y'all standing up against this bill and thing, and then y'all gonna turn around, and then y'all gonna come up with all kind of different things. Oh, well, we were supposed to do it. That's why we didn't. No. If the people say that's what they want, give it to the people.
Correct.
Let the people do it.
Yes.
I heard Mr. Minister, Right Honorable Prime Minister said in one of his speeches, say, man, the government's supposed to be working for us. We don't wait for the government.
We are
No.
public servants.
Right. The government's supposed to wait for us.
Every
But
MP.
we got it the other way around. When they're
Yeah.
ready, they do all kind of things.
Mhm.
All kind of things. If they don't want to speak to us, they grab the people who they want to interview them to come interview me. I only want you one here. And
Yeah.
the
They
door
pick
closed,
and
nobody-
And it
choose who they
should be.
want
So
to.
it's the DNA preparing a backup plan that if they don't win sufficient seats to become the government, that they're prepared to to offer this country the greatest opposition party in the history of its existence.
Well, I don't know if you heard, Madam Leader had spoken, she had mentioned that it would be good if we could do a coalition party, a coalition grouping of people. If we don't win all of our seats, it's okay if it's a mixture in the House of Assembly. That in itself is not bad, because everyone would be accountable in the House of Assembly.
Right.
You understand? Not only there will be accountability, there will be like I say, like a Freedom of Information Act. It won't just be where one man calls all the shot.
Right.
You have to answer to a grouping of people.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, but
understand?
it has worked. It has worked in the past. It's working inside England right now. They
Yeah.
have about 3 political parties or 4 political parties in London, in England right now. And one is the Workers, one is the Labour, one is the other party. It's about 4 of them. So whoever controls the majority
Right, they're the government.
in the government.
But then you gotta go to opposition.
But if it's
not
a
only
mix.
that, not only that, what happens is that whenever you prepare legislation to carry the country forward,
Right.
Yeah.
it have to be a very bipartisan.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
Because you have a mixture, not only persons that who are part of your political organization.
No.
You have persons who are part of 4 different parties.
Parties, right.
Who make up.
Or independence.
Right. Who make up. So with the country experiencing the first time where you have 3 major political parties in the assembly, if you all win, like how you saying, it'd be a good thing for the country.
It would be a good thing.
It'd be a good thing.
And not,
Speaking of being a good thing, I see my lines are lit up now. Let's
Go
go back
ahead.
to the phone lines. Good evening, independent thinker Ivan Showtime. Primetime, 2 DNA candidates in the studio. What's on your mind?
You're live.
Live.
Hey, listen, man, listen. I appreciate that you have the young lady in the mind inside them, but they got to do a lot more studying. I heard the lady say that what was one of the first things she do when she get in was the stimulus package. We don't need those stimulus packets. We have all the natural resources in the world. We need to get to sell some of those things, and we only have to worry about no 7.5 or no 12% on back tax. You know, all our natural resources that could be sold or made, we need to bring the factories to this country, make factories and make jobs in this country as I speak. We don't need to sell no fish away, you know what I mean? Where the sardine come from, which is the biggest fish in the world, huh? The head over there and the tail here in the can. You see what I'm saying? We need to bring the factories back here like it used to be in Lutra one time ago. Remember how we Lutra was? That's the way the Bahamas is going to be, man. You know what I mean? And the DNA, you guys need to study some more before you come up with what you come up with. Because I don't want y'all to make yourself shame when you come out there. This is a serious thing and a serious time. You know what I mean? Every person in this Bahama Island ain't into what the FNM and what the PLP are into.
I totally,
Let's listen carefully. Let me say something one more time again. You know what I mean? How could you be thinking about protecting our natural resources and our environment in the Bahamas when things happen in the Bahamas to cover them up? You know what I mean? You remember the Minister of Environment, how he was stripped of his position? You remember Oban that they were trying to bring inside this country where one man signed the next man's name on a contract and all the deputy prime minister, Mr. Brent Simon, and the representative from Eastern Grand Rama, Mr. Turncrest, and all them up laughing, you know what I mean, with big red suitcase and things. We don't need these kind of jokes, man. Them things for carnival. You understand what I'm saying? Independent thinker, you know I could go off on these people and let them know what time it is, you know.
No, but I listen to me.
Even
So
the
sound like you
non-
sound like you're a part of one of the new parties. What the party are you a part of?
Boy, I am a part of a party right now. You know what I mean? We go home in the scene in a little while. We are here to.
So you only have no name yet? You only have no name yet?
Y'all got to get it together because we may have a snap election.
and the DNA can take your seat.
We ready. We got enough candidates.
But who y'all got enough candidates? So what the name of your party? Give me.
What's the name of your party?
Give the Bahamian people the name of your political
And what's your
organization.
plan?
Listen at this. You know what I mean? Our plan will come out when it's time to come out.
See, but then you can't knock our plan because we got plans. You can't knock
Anyway,
us.
listen,
Giving us your
I
name.
got a couple more of my lines. Let up. I appreciate your call, man. Thanks.
Hey, just
Make your final point. Go
Don't knock
ahead.
the plans.
Make your final point.
Because
Go
we
ahead.
got plans.
this is my final point. You know what I mean? I listen to you right now. You got the floor. You know what I mean? I got big ears. I'm the donkey tonight. I want to hear what you got to say. And when I come to say what I got to say, then you have to listen to me.
Okay, buddy.
Listen,
Appreciate you.
bring him on, tell him, come sit in the hot seat, and tell him, you better come prepared,
come
because I ready
prepared.
him.
Appreciate-
Independent thing, though.
That's all.
You know you're supposed to bring my man on.
He come in, man. Listen, listen to me. Listen. Why don't you listen?
Anyway, listen, we got a couple of lines to let. Go ahead, quick.
I'm gonna order. I'm gonna book him after next week. Next week we supposed to have the PLP deputy leader, Chester Cooper. He hasn't confirmed us yet. But if everything goes planned, the following week I'll bring your man of business, Mr. Campbell.
Yes, because listen to me, man. You know what I mean? We tired of these clowns, my friend.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Appreciate your call, man. I see we got the line.
Go ahead,
Let's go back to the phone line. Good evening, Primetime Independent Thinker, Ivan Showtime. Two wonderful DNA candidates in the studio. What's on your mind?
Good evening, and things. How you doing?
Yes, sir.
I have a question for Miss Deveaux and Elizabeth. You know, I hear she keeps talking about the stimulus package after the event. What are plans? How she's planning on funding this stimulus package? And I heard you saying about the first year she'll have to borrow. Then the other following years, I don't know how she's going to get the money from. For the past, but you know, we went through tragedy for the last year or so. We all can agree to that. You know, when you come here, you got to talk the truth and speak the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people are going to vote for you, Miss Deveaux, based on you speaking the truth.
Yes, I agree. I agree with
Okay.
you, sir.
You don't run around the bush talking this and that and the other like that.
No.
Okay. What are your plans for stimulus package? How are you going to fund it?
Well, the plans, like I had mentioned, the first year when we get into office, our intention is to borrow. We're gonna have to borrow so that we can stimulate the economy. So this is where the stimulus package come in. A lot of Bahamians are hurting today, as you can see. Like I would mention earlier, we have some Bahamians that are even living in their cars right now, and they need relief. And so a stimulus package would help a lot of Bahamians out of what they're going through right now in this country. Some persons can't even how should I put it, get groceries for themselves. You understand? And so I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm going to tell you the God's honest truth. Yes, we're going to have to borrow the first year. Okay? Yes, we're going to pay off our national debt. We have the resources, the natural resources of this country that can help pay off our natural debt, our national debt. I'm not gonna, like I say, lie to you. That doesn't make any sense. We are all Bahamians. We all want a solution, and this is the solution we're coming up with.
He's asking how you would fund the stimulus package.
Like I say, the first year.
How far have you gotten with that?
Sorry, say it again for me.
I said for years now, for almost a century, we've been talking about national resources in the Bahamas. How far have you gotten with that?
Yeah, we talk about it.
What are your plans on actually getting these national resources?
Well, to be honest with you, the natural resources are there. It all has to do with a change of hands, okay, so to speak. Whoever owns it, it has to be transferred back to the people. It's ours. The salt is ours. The aragonite is ours. It's all ours, including our water, our seas. It's all ours.
I totally agree. Okay, so take for example molten salt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you see, I'm gonna take that back. Who's gonna run it after that? I mean, no, hold on. Let me tell you one thing about payments. And
I'm listening.
And there's a little fault that we got. Payments like jewelry on their hands, fancy cars. When it comes to investment, no. You're one of two Bahamians who will invest. And then what we do as Bahamians, we down the set who invest. Okay?
Yeah, but caller, I'll tell you this. I'll interject to what you're saying. Based on what the future candidate of DNA is saying, that these things can be accomplished by tapping into the resources that this country possesses. And if we were to put a proper structure and plan together, to deal with the wealth of this country. The Bahamians shouldn't be taxed. That's what
No,
she's. I mean,
it
based
shouldn't.
on what I understand, what she's saying.
We shouldn't.
Anyway, caller, appreciate your call, man.
No,
You got another point?
Another question.
Sure.
About stimulus package. Bottom line is, like I said, we've been through trouble for the last year or so.
2 years.
Okay? And bottom line is, I think the government is doing as best as they can to keep the economy as well as the people afloat and alive. Okay? I'm not, don't see me as say, being a proponent of the government. Right? But the thing is, actually, you got to speak truth to reality. Okay?
So, caller, in actuality, you're saying now.
National insurance. Okay. You have a lot of folks who never contribute to national insurance in their life, their entire life, who are actually benefiting from national insurance. I contributed to national insurance from as I was waking. I've not benefited one day from national insurance. Okay? You have a lot of folks out there, like that, sleeping in cars. They totally agree. Right? The thing is, the government right now is actually trying to keep, like I said, the economy afloat and trying to keep people alive and food in their mouth and trying to keep things. Like I said, today, they said that water has increased. I, for one, didn't know that we as Damon get 3,000 gallons of water free for every month. 3,000 gallons up front. You don't pay for the 3,000 gallons. But we as Bahamians don't like to pay bills. We don't like to pay taxes. Any kind of taxes is the first way it does. But yet we expect the economy to stay afloat by just not paying our light bill, not paying our water bill, not, well, cable, I'm sure no choice but to pay, you cut you off.
Yeah.
But the things that government run, and I think government should privatize everything else. Because the thing is, government is not the best when it comes to running any national item. Okay?
Okay, caller.
So the thing is, we can make noise and say, oh, water going up. Yeah. How long have we been benefit from 3,000 free gallons of water a year? I mean, not a year, a month.
Yeah, but caller, we got to take a break. We do for a break, but I tell you this. I think when you mentioned with privatization, man, listen. Privatization ain't no good road, my brother. Because listen, they take water and sewage, and they consolidated water right now, right? A company from the Cayman Island is producing water out by the airport right now for the Bahamians.
Yeah,
you think Bahamians can't pump water to the ground? We've been throwing water from Andres for the last, 50 years? And then, man, listen, cable and wireless right now hold 51% of BDC.
But
right?
That's
Listen,
our problem.
I can't believe that privatization thing.
We can't blame.
I don't agree with that.
Anyway,
We can't blame foreigners coming in and doing these things.
yeah, caller, we gotta go to break. We gotta go to break. All right,
Thank
appreciate
you,
your call, man. Anyway, guys, we overdue for a break. Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
And
Take number 2. Call on number 2. Take number 2. Go ahead.
our producer saying we gotta go to line 2. Let's go to line 2.
Go line 2.
Good evening, Primetime Independent Thinker, Ivan Showtime. What's on your mind?
Good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hey, my brothers. So, Diamond, and the building was good.
Yes, sir. So far, so good.
Yeah, man, I know this, Kobe. I mean, right, yeah.
Go ahead, Kobe.
First of all, let's put the DNA right. I don't think Bahamians have a problem paying fat. I think the problem that Bahamians have
It's where the money
is
going.
that we don't know where this fat money going.
Well, I can give you an idea, Kobe. I can give you an idea. The government have to find.
We haven't known where the fat money went yet.
Listen.
Now, it's 3.5 years with that for them. We haven't known where the double VAT money going yet.
My God.
So
Yeah, but
I think we don't have a problem paying VAT. No, I think the problem is if we paying VAT and national insurance, give us a snipe at the end of the year like what Americans do.
Give you some back.
Yeah,
That's a good
Then you
idea.
file back.
yeah.
Well, not a bad
That's-
idea.
that's
But
not
ca-
bad.
but
That's
caller,
not a bad idea.
I must be honest with you, and I must tell you or suggest you some information will give you an understanding. The government have to find $56 million every month. 56 million every month.
That's the payroll.
Can you imagine? This country hasn't had one tourist or 5 tourists on Bay Street from March last year. And next month is March again. And they have to find $56 million every month to pay its bills. That is excluding those contracts that the PLP left in place, where some has contract for 25 years, some has contract for 20 years, and the government have to find these money when our only pillar called tourism is almost out of existence.
Anyway, Kobe, appreciate your call, man. We get back to you.
All right.
All right, buddy. Let's go back to phone lines. Let's go to number 4. Good evening, Primetime, Independent Thinker. What's on your mind?
Prime time, independent thinker, and the DNA coming and reading. How you doing?
Good, good.
Oh, that's a good call.
All them, some of them previous callers, you got to cut them short, man. That's the night in there, like the night is the Democratic man.
Thank you very much.
Because all that foolishness, but that 2 callers ago was running on.
No, but you can.
He was his foot in his own mouth. The English don't think we can run nothing like independent thinkers say. We've been running this country long time.
Oh,
That made a special interest, but got this country messed up the way it is.
thank you.
The Free National Movement and the PLP.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter which one of them you put in there. The same piper that is paying them to get the call, the tone. You understand me?
Thank
now,
you.
The PLP and the FNM, it's like the Titanic. They think that that ship unsinkable, but guess what? They struck an iceberg, and the true separation has occurred. The PLP is the stern going one way, and the FNM is the bow going the next way. You could jump in the water and hold on to one of them other splinter groups, but the water is 40 degrees below zero. You understand me? So you ain't gonna survive long holding on to those splinters. The only viable group right now that's in the water that could save us out of this mess we in is the lifeboat of the Democratic National Alliance. And the Behemoths need to get with it.
What is
All right, caller.
This
Take
sound,
that. You
this
take-
sound like
thank you,
you've been
caller.
minute.
This
Take
Brandon
that.
McCarthy?
No, this sound like you've been minute.
Oh, hell no.
I think we got another call on line 1. Let's go to line 1. Good evening, Primetime, Independent Thinker. What's on your mind?
Yes, good night to all.
Good night, good
I have a
night.
question for the lady, for the DNA candidate, Elizabeth. I heard her speaking, and she has some wonderful ideas, and she is expressing some wonderful ideas and stuff. But I have a question. What is it that the DNA will do to resonate their message more consistently with individuals in terms of that one-on-one approach? I often kid around and say that the DNA is good for social media, but in my humble opinion, I don't think message on social media alone can win an election. I do agree that we need a fresh eyes with new talent, new ideas to change this beautiful country around. But what is it that the DNA plan to do consistently? For example, going door to door to meet with persons to hear their concern. Because and like I said, in listening, I love what the lady expressed, especially with this corona virus when she talks about the vaccination. Me as a budding herbalist, I support using medicinal plants, in order to defeat this coronavirus, and also to utilize our beach, which is, in my opinion, a healing facility. So I love how she expressed that why not have our Bahamian scientists analyze and review the vaccine to provide accurate and proper information so that persons can make a sound decision to determine whether or not they should take the vaccine. Me, as what I'll say right now, I'm not in support of the vaccine, nor am I in support of wearing the mask, because the mask can cause a lot of respiratory problems, a lot of other illnesses, simply because the body is designed to breathe in oxygen and not to breathe in more of your carbon dioxide. So I'd just like to know, from the DNA candidate, are you guys willing to take your message to the streets? To go door to door, to go in the communities on a consistent basis, not just one day to say that, I didn't walk, just to say that you walk, but on a consistent basis, because in order to take the government or take over any budding third party or any other party other than the two political giants, you have to work in my humble opinion, 10 times as hard.
Right.
Right, you know, in order to really connect with the people. Like I said, this is good.
Good point, caller. Good point. Let me allow
Yeah.
Ms. Hillary here to
Yeah.
answer the question for you.
That's why we go from house to house every single week, so we could get the views of the constituents, so we could know what to implement and how to go about it. Me personally, my strategy is when I enter the House of Assembly and become a member of Parliament is to every month on a monthly basis have like a town meeting with my constituents, so I'm able to get ideas that I can express in the House of Assembly. That would be the reason why they would have elected me or elected the party to represent them. And me personally, it's a personal thing for me because I am Bahamian. I love my country, I love my constituents, and I would want to have the opinion of my constituents. And so to say, like, to just go in the House of Assembly and neglect my constituents and not get the ideas and views of my constituents is ridiculous, because they are the ones that bring the ideas. They are the ones who are able to tell me what's going on in the area. So
Right.
that would be a monthly thing for me, because that's a job. That's what they hire me to do.
Right,
Absolutely.
right. But what about now, though? Like, for instance, I'm in Yamakwa. Like, what about now? Like, prior to the election, I mean, what is it that you're gonna do now? Like, tomorrow, will you go out on a consistent basis? Will I see you 5 times prior to the election, just so I can connect with you? Because as I go and I travel, you know, I like to, you know, analyze and feel the appetite of people out there, and the desire is there to change from the two political giants. However, I'm hearing more that, man, you can't feel what the DNA bringing, or you can't resonate with what another, you know, third party is bringing. Like, there's no connection. You know, it's just social media, and most persons aren't into social media, or they just will go on social media as something candid. It's not something that could really connect. That message will not, you know, connect. Like, you know, you'll see a poll be done on social media and say, okay, the DNA
caller.
they leading in the polls, but when it comes to the reality of the election, you end up getting beat because you never connect with the people that say resonate. But what are you guys going to do now to say, okay, we need to hit the road running on a consistent
Basis. Yeah, okay, caller. We get your question. I allow her to answer it for me. And again, appreciate your call, all right?
Yeah, okay. One more point, if I could really say real quick. But the last minute,
Quickly, go
I
ahead.
feel as though something is wrong with our system. You know, it's the people within our system. Now, I will agree that you could use a little tweaks here or there,
Yeah.
but in my humble opinion, I don't feel as though we have exhaust our Westminster system to the best of our ability. And the last point I would like to ask today, and again, will you guys be willing to call a commission of inquiry for persons that have corrupt for
Most
their
definitely.
own personal gain? Are you
Okay.
guys willing to?
All right, appreciate it. She's going to answer all those questions for you.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right.
The caller, I was trying to get a word in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, like he was saying, he probably wanted to know how we would be more consistent when it comes to the constituents, and that is where we go from house to house, like I'd mentioned in the beginning, and be more hands-on. But me personally, I like to join associations, so I can have a more in-depth view as to what's going on with my constituents. Whatever they have an area, I want to be a part of. So I'm a part of the constituency.
So that's the constituency you grew up in?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. So you're at home.
I am. These might be.
Ms. Johnson, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, that's the kind of relationship I
Yes.
think the constituents need.
Yeah.
They need to know that they could go knock on Ms. Johnson's door and
Get
talk to her
a
at
get
any-
a
point in
gallon of
time.
milk.
Mm.
Borrow some eggs.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
I-
Listen, you
Theo, sorry, go ahead.
You have any more, Paul?
No, not right now.
Take a break. You want to take a break now? Take a break now.
Okay,
and then
we
come
go to
back.
our final break?
We're
Okay.
gonna
Yeah.
get 18 more minutes.
We got 13 more minutes.
Time
What time
ready.
ready? Time ready. Fine. Anyway, guys.
326-8255. Give us a call. We'll be back after the break. We'll take a final break before the anniversary.
Welcome back, everybody. I've been Showtime Independent Thinker, and of course, Miss Hillary Deveaux, vying for that Elizabeth. Is it Elizabeth
Yes,
Estates?
it's Elizabeth.
And then, of course,
She has a good.
Theo.
She has a good opportunity, Elizabeth.
Yeah,
State.
man. Let me tell you something. I won't go on the limb and say that's already 2 seats. I see the DNA has a very good chance of winning.
Elizabeth and Tolvines, or Elizabeth and Michael.
Oh, on Tall Pines too. Yeah, because let me tell you now. Let me tell you why I don't think Leslie Miller, he did not get nominated.
Leslie
right?
Miller, I don't think he running mine. I think
He
his
running?
daughter's running in Seabreeze.
Yeah, but Leslie Miller, I thought he would run independent.
Oh,
I think that's the
Oh,
rumor
no,
was
man.
going around.
Yeah,
That
that's
he's
what's
running,
scared the
yeah, that he's
PLP.
running
Okay.
independent.
I think the Honorable Leslie Miller just scaring the PLP and
Right.
saying that. I don't think he's gonna run in the
Yeah, because we need some fresh ideas, man. That's my whole overall concept about it. You know, and Theo, like I was asking you earlier, you know, we talk about this Westminster system, the guy calling and saying, well, we wasn't using it to our fullest potential and doing the right things with it. But I you know, express your view on it. What do you think? Because I feel like, you know, it's a lot of conflict of interest involved in this Westminster system. Not just me, you know. Independent thing, I don't know how you
No,
feel.
no, no, no. I ain't no conversation.
I'm saying I don't know how you
I don't
feel.
feel that way. I feel we need to improve.
Tweak it a little bit?
I think we need not tweak it. We need to create. We can create our own system. You know. We don't have to follow the Westminster system. You know. We can create a republic, Westminster system. We could pick best practices on all the system.
Right.
We pick the best practice and create a hybrid system where you're using some practices from the republic, some practices from the Westminster system, everything that is in the best interest of the country and its people.
Right.
So you don't have to stick with the format and the layout
Well said.
of yeah. So
Well
you know, I think it need to change. I think plenty things need to change in the system. I think senators should be elected. I think judges should be elected.
Elected.
I just think that plenty things should happen. I think cabinet ministers should be appointed. Why? Sometimes you end up with persons who in the House Assembly who are not
Don't know nothing about what they're doing.
right.
They
I would say do not do it. I shouldn't say that, but I should
That's
say,
it. They know nothing about what they're doing.
You're being too rough, man. I think
No, it's not being rough. One time we had a foot doctor in charge of sports. I was
Yeah.
wondering, I said, man,
We have
one time in time there was who that was? Who was about?
I ain't calling no
Yeah, the
name.
PLP, you know, but Donnie Johnson.
That's Donnie Johnson.
No,
No,
We
no,
have,
no, no.
Reverend Brown, he's the Minister of Health, and he's not even a doctor. So.
So,
No, but
you
I
got-
can tell you this. A quote from, as I tell you, history is very
Yeah, it's
important.
very
Yes.
important.
If you go to a statement that was made by the former Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Arthur D. Hanna, and he said that studies has proven that persons who are not a part of that profession always did better than the persons who.
Wow.
Arthur D. Hanna said in 1990.
How much examples he gave you?
Huh?
How much examples he gave you?
He gave me. He said that was.
I think I'm going to
you
agree with
Google
him
that, you can get that
because
from the papers.
I think I'm going to agree with him because let's say this, we have chefs in this country with certificates. I feel as though the people who don't have certificates are the best cooks. That's how I feel. The people who don't have nothing behind them are the best cooks.
No,
the
you
best
see-
talented people.
When you talk about cooking now, cooking sometimes is like you learn like on the run, you know,
Correct, yeah.
because you would get apprenticeship more or less. Like for
more
instance,
you do it,
you have
the
an
more you
uncle
learn.
who's the cook,
Yeah.
and you hanging out with your uncle teaching you how to do this and then it pass on to you like that. But then when you talk about going for a job as a chef or as somebody, what they call those high level cooks now, they gotta
Executive
make-
chefs.
Executive chefs.
Yes.
So you gotta have something to say. Like,
Yeah.
I could do this like this, or what they do now is they let you have an audition where you cook something, and they based on how it tastes. Couple of people taste it, and they say, yeah, I think.
Yeah, because the majority of the professions, the ministries that the country hold over the years, the majority is held by lawyers. And I did law also, I have a law degree, but it doesn't teach you how to be a minister of aviation.
No.
It doesn't teach you how to be a minister of transport. So, the statement that was made by the former Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Arthur D. Hanna, it has some weight there.
Yeah.
Because that's why you have consultants, that's why you have advisors, that's why you have professional persons in those ministries, especially the permanent secretary.
Secretary, yeah.
So
Correct.
you don't really have to be of that particular profession to be good. If you have a mind for the people, you have mother's wit, you have understanding, you have common sense, and you have a heart and desire to do well, the sky is the limit.
Yeah, I think the phone lines are open again. Let's go to the phone
Line
lines.
3.
Good evening, Primetime and Independent Thinker, Ivan Showtime.
Listen, the first thing you all need to do is give me back my minutes back, because I have my cell phone, right? Second thing is, I ain't want to hear you an independent thinker, man. I know what y'all thinking every week.
He's a true DNA. He's a true DNA.
We need to hear what they saying, man. I ain't do what y'all saying. And the next time someone calling you asking the government in Britain what they intend to do, you ask them, what have they gotten it for years? That's the answer to that question. And one thing, just remember, you heard this voice on your show, Prime Time. I went to Komalafe, the Prime Minister in waiting. Name has been changed to Mama Komalafe. Okay? You heard it voice on Prime Time.
All right, so but yeah, they ready. They fired up tonight.
Boy,
Listen, they gotta be fired up tonight and be fired up to go to the polls.
But he said something that made a whole lot of sense, though.
What is
When he
that?
said that because of the DNA situation in terms of, they're not one of the big giants as it relates to the political parties. So they got a longer way to go. They're like the underdogs in this.
Right.
So
They
gotta
have to wait. They
twice as
gotta
hard.
wait. Yeah, the guy said, the caller said earlier that they have to wait at least 10 times harder.
Right.
Why? They need to go to, listen, they need to get the ground running.
Yeah.
Don't only wait for the bell to ring. You mightn't have much money to offer because of the trying times and the DNA don't have no major sponsors, not if I know of. And so you have to go and sell your plan, sell your vision, sell your plan, sell your vision.
Well, we do that every day of the week. We go and we talk to people in the community. We sell ourselves. This is the plan that we're bringing for the young people, for the Bahamian people on the whole. So we go every day and we go spread our message. We go spread it every day. We go to seniors, young, old, everybody. We go there and spread our message.
So who running inside the Grove? Because I ain't seen no DNA come there yet. And I's the biggest DNA inside the Grove.
We are interviewing
and
somebody.
3rd Street, the Grove, I's the biggest DNA, and I ain't seen one
You know
come
what?
there yet.
Independent Thinker, now that you mentioned that, I don't know, you want to show your hat back in the
No, I can't. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
really know. Brother, I can't go. Listen,
Why?
this the waist side, the right.
Why
This
it?
is the right
You know
time
what
to
I'm
down.
saying?
This is
That's the
another
waist
thing.
side. I mean, fella like me, not for y'all. Y'all may be, I
Okay.
don't know your status. I can tell you this. But these people are waiting.
Yeah, you got to give it some money. That's all that means.
Give out some money.
Yeah.
From
You got to help the people.
I don't want, I am the power to borrow. The
mean?
bank don't lend no more.
Yeah.
I try to get a $5,000 overdraft. Look at me, that's a foreign language.
Yeah, no.
We have some new candidates, so especially for the group.
For the group?
Yeah.
So when they come into
we
me,
are interviewing at the moment.
when they come into me,
Speaking of candidates
Mr. DNA.
from in the Grove, was Jarino Sanders, is he running this year?
Oh, he's a talented fella. I
Oh,
voted
man.
for him last election.
Yes,
He's a
Jarino.
talented
He's in your area.
But he wasn't out. I don't know if he running again.
He's not running anymore.
I don't know.
What?
I heard that.
No, he's not.
He's not running. And I always thought he was a good upcoming candidate.
Yeah, but when you
But
back to,
he still is a supporter of the party. He still
Oh,
supports the party, but he's not
back
running.
to when he was talking when the guy called and referenced the stimulus package, that's why I said the governments have to find $56 million every month
Yeah.
to cover salary and commitments from the previous government and commitments from this government. And with our only national pillar or is tourism, and no tourists in this country, you have to borrow. I mean, it's no other way. You can't just print money
No.
because it costs the value. And in the next we can do, we have to borrow money.
Well, yeah. I know that. Like I said, I'm gonna say this again. The first year and with us being in office, we're gonna have to borrow. That's why I told the caller, I cannot lie to you. We're gonna have to borrow the first year, and then start cleaning up house as we go. We have to.
And you know why they have to borrow, right? Because of the state that the country's in.
Yeah.
Now, for the
But the
past,
state gotta
hold on,
be-
hold on, wait, listen,
Go
wait,
ahead,
wait a
go
minute.
ahead, go ahead.
For the past 40 odd years, okay, the state this country's in now, we had two different parties running this country: the Progressive Liberal Party
One
and the
party.
Free National Movement. Okay,
I don't share that view.
and the thing is, the situation that we're in, those two parties get us
I
in
know
this
those
situation.
one party.
One party,
Yeah.
one party get us in
But
this situation.
at the beginning, at the introduction, I lay out.
So the
50 years.
people are the ones who ain't good. Because if a party doing that good, why you take them out?
Mm-hmm.
I ask a question all the time that all the PLBs who like talk politics with me, when they come to me, I say, why did the Bahamian people chase you all out of office? You all had 32 seats. You all ended up with 4. And they blaming everything on this government. Never mind the pandemic, never mind the COVID-19, never mind Dorian. The PLB is blaming everything on this government. When there's no tours on Bay Street, they had 5 years of not one day missing where tours was on Bay Street. And they never stopped the overdraft. They had an overdraft during their time. They had deficit during their time. They had the national debt, was some $4 billion to the national debt. How is it that we in a state that we in now, and people believe that the country can do so better, while the only pillar is now at a standstill?
It
Anyway,
is.
I tell you what,
It
we got less than a minute. First, I'm gonna let
Mr. Coakley, go ahead.
Mr. Coakley,
Yes.
final word, Mr. Coakley, as it relates to tall pines, of course, the DNA, and the way forward, and the challenge that you guys have.
Well, I'd like to say this. The way forward in the DNA as the government, we know we have a lot of work to do. And we know that we have a lot on our shoulders, but we are here to work. For my Tall Pines people out there, I'm going to say my Tall Pines people because I'm part of them now. I'm here to work. I'm about to bring love and unity, more stuff to the community to help the people of Tall Pines. So I'm here to work. I'm here to go in that office to work for y'all. That's what I'm there to do, and that's why I'm here today to tell you that I'm here to work. Use me as your voice.
Wow, boy, I tell you.
Final words, Mr.
My words to my constituents and to the Bahamas as a whole, change is here. The DNA is the change that you all have been looking for. The country didn't get like this within a year or so. This is a 40-year transition. This is the reason why we're here. But the DNA is a fresh change for this country, and we're about to take this country 50 years forward. And to the Elizabeth constituency, I'm here. I'm ready to work.
Boy, I tell
Let's
you.
get it on, Elizabeth. Let's get it on.
Okay.
And I would like to say I want every Bahamian in this country go register to vote.
Yes.
Because your vote matters. Let's go green, Bahamas. It's time for change.
Yes.
I'll end with saying a quote from Sir Lyndon Oscar Pillen, the late Sir Lyndon Oscar Pillen. If Bahamians aren't prepared to stand up and fight and defend their own Bahamas, they don't deserve to have it. Good night, Bahamas.
Good night.
All right, that's gonna do it for us, man.
All right.
Everybody be safe until next week.